Hello, my people. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you all. Welcome back to our channel where we give you updates on the latest happenings. If you have not followed our channel, please subscribe to this very channel so you'll be getting updates on regular basis to follow up on what we have in stock for you, because we are bringing you update back to back on waiting to happen. We'll go straight to the reason why we are here. News Gospel is here to make sure that you are not missing out on anything that has to do with Nigeria politics and every other news, both local and international. As you can see on our screen, we have loaded Tori Boko, no be saying a small one. No. You go see and hear, say, Wala don't boss out. They say IPOB disassociate from US-based group plotting government in exile. So what's going on here? They say that IPOB, probably the DOS, say that they are not part of the people planning government in exile. Una know IPOB disassociates from US-based group plotting government in exile. They said they have no intention to bring Biafra at this point in time. Say that government in exile, say no be them, they run a move. So when this kind of thing they happen, I begin to wonder. They say we know they also print money who join the matter. And at the house, the Biafran government in exile, their house, I be this one now, BRGIA USA. Breaking news, Biafra Republic. Government in exile house, United States, activated. Remember a few days back, Simon Ekpa said that they were working on liaison offices in several parts of the world. We never know whether the thing don't get heard or he never get, because they say they work on the ground on that matter. And another thing here don't still cause kasala. They say that Kamala Harris will be the vice president to the United States of America. We visited Ghana recently. Say no be small we gain na he face for that place. So say that the Ghanaian president na make a like that man. He say you know they tolerate nonsense because this woman came to preach gay rights in Ghana. The man say Loriro, we cannot accept such nonsense. See, nobody can come to Ghana to come and tell us, say, maybe they accept gay. The same way, was it, which other country? Uganda. Say, Loriro, they are not going to accept that LGBT right in their own country. I say, wow, that's African culture. So America cannot come to Africa to dictate to the government what they have to do and what they are not going to do. And I'll play you one video to reveal the intentions of these Western people. We will go straight to the reason why we are here. Let's start with IPOB's denial on the plot for government in exile. Now, he says that the indigenous people of Biafra said it has no pact with a dissident group running Radio Biafra out of the United States and plotting to actualize a Biafran government in exile. So my question here now, share to run Biafran government in exile, is it a crime? How does it affect? That's what I want to know. Does it affect the fact that you want to actualize Biafra, or if you run it, government is going to arrest maybe the people or the people that are doing business with the government, maybe they will stop to pay them. Say, how could you allow your people to run government in exile? Abi you they sponsor them? So it be like say, now wait to make this group now come say, Loriro, we not be part of those people. The separatist group in a statement by its spokesman, Emma Powerful, which is of the DOS department of IPOB, on Wednesday stated that IPOB is not part of the formation of Biafra government in exile anywhere. Wahala don boss out too. He emphasized that there are no factions whatsoever in IPOB, and we do not have any link with autopilot groups, adding that any group operating under whatever name or disguise outside IPOB under the leadership of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu and the Directorate of State, which is DOS, is on its own. Wow, I say, okay, that means that autopilot is on its own, and the DOS is on its own. Well, that shouldn't be a problem, yes, because in every struggle or in everything, people have the right to choose what they want to do. So this autopilot group have decided to follow another track, and the DOS is also following another track. So according to Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, on one of his broadcasts, he say anybody we know wetin go do to bring Biafra, make you go do am. So I think the DOS are speaking for themselves and not speaking for the autopilot. Autopilot, they talk their own. DOS, then they talk their own. Contrary to some media reports, IPOB also denied that it plans to print Biafran currency and other state paraphernalia. Okay? He stressed that while its ultimate dream is to realize a sovereign state of Biafran, it currently has no plan to do so. So my question here is, since you are not planning on printing the currency for Biafra, having a Biafran government in exile, so when will you plan? When do you plan to actualize the Biafra you have in mind? That's the question you are supposed to be throwing to the DOS people. Now, question now they ask so, because I know a lot of people are also asking the same question. Part of the statement read further: the people behind the shambolic Radio Biafra government in exile in the United States of America are not IPOB members. But Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, and to my own understanding and knowledge, is that every Igbo man, whether they have agreed or they never agree, that Biafra spirit lives in them. So they can only pretend, people can only keep quiet. If you give opportunity in Nigeria today and say people should speak their mind, you will realize that 99.9% of Igbos wants Biafra today. But if you speak, government go tranque you. Now make everybody keep quiet. It can't be like, say, people where they house, they don't want the Biafra. And the government, where they represent Igbo people, they don't hold them for Apamo, so they cannot really talk and say this is what we want. This DOS went further and said they should stop linking themselves to IPOB. We have often made it clear to Biafrans that IPOB has no hand in the purported Biafran government in exile. So, and that is true. The DOS has no hand in the government of Biafra in exile. It is being run by another group. So everybody, there is MASOB, there is IPOB autopilot, there is IPOB DOS. We be say, like say they don't tire somehow. So now then say they know they do this one, but another people, now then they do this one. So everybody, like Mazen Nnamdi Kanu gave the authorities, everybody has the right to agitate. So now like this, the IPOB autopilot decide, say the one they do their own agitation. Those piloting government in exile in the USA are not IPOB members, and they don't mean well for Biafra freedom and restoration. They are politicians and not a non-violent freedom-fighting movement like IPOB. Una de hear. So they say these people they don't mean well. They are not IPOB members. So that brings you to a question. What is the meaning of IPOB? It means the indigenous people of Biafra. Who are the indigenous people? Now all of us, everybody, now follow for that thing. So when you say that those people are not IPOB members, I begin to wonder what they mean. Anyways, in continuation, the IPOB spokesperson, the DOS spokesperson, warned Igbos to stop following noisemakers who disguise as people in Biafra's struggle to distract IPOB and call attention to themselves. Our people should stop being emotional about the Biafra independence so that they don't get food easily. There is time for everything as the struggle progresses. IPOB is carefully and patiently implementing every strategy towards our freedom, he said. And this is a DOS. They say DOS is carefully and slowly implementing every strategy towards the freedom of Biafra. The Institute for Economic and Peace recently retracted its listing of IPOB among the top 10 deadliest terror groups in the world. So that's a nice achievement right there on the issue of tagging IPOB. I go bring on the Tori full one from that one. They say they know they print money, say the people, the autopilot, say they know be IPOB, they know be Igbo people. They are foreigners where they work with the government. Now, wow, no be juju be that or the ego. So let us listen to this man on this video on the plot of the US in Africa. You know, say Africa now don't enter dragging between Russia, them, China, and the US people, which is NATO people. Let's listen to this guy.
Is sending their vice president to Africa in an attempt to salvage Western relations with the continent, as America hopes to maintain Western influence over the various African nations while slowing down the influence of BRICS. Let's talk about what's happening, why Africa finds the entire world wanting to be their friends, and what this means for business in Africa. This trip from the vice president will include Ghana, Tanzania, and Zambia, and follows French President Macron's friendship tour of Africa a few weeks prior. This is clearly a preemptive measure, with the West trying to get ahead of President Putin, who plans to visit Africa to make a major push to align Africa with BRICS later this year. After the Ukraine war created a clear division between the West and Russia, the West realized that Africa aligning itself with BRICS nations would give Russia a major strategic advantage over the West. Thus, the US and France are extremely worried about losing influence with Africa, as China and Russia have made significant inroads in various African nations. If you spent time in Africa, you have likely seen the massive infrastructure projects. The US is hoping to use a charm offensive to convince the African countries to expand their relations with the Western world and reject future infrastructure and business deals from Russia and China. Each side is coming to the African nations with proposals. At this point, we can only speculate, as many of the negotiations are ongoing and all sides are tight-lipped. Nevertheless, let's talk about what offers are likely going to be on the table from the West and from BRICS, and which side is more favorable to business in Africa. The BRICS nations, specifically Russia and China, are likely offering the various African leaders more energy infrastructure, transportation infrastructure, free grain, and help in developing African manufacturing, among other things. In exchange, the BRICS nations are likely looking to continue to establish a business foothold in Africa, receive a revenue stream from the various infrastructure projects through tolls and surcharges, allow BRICS access to the raw resources of the African continent, and of course, the ultimate goal of BRICS may be to cut off Western influence from Africa. The West will likely be a little less transparent. The West will offer foreign aid with strings attached, developmental loans from the World Bank, more American visa lotteries for the African citizens, and implied military protection for the leaders who play nice with Europe and America. In exchange, the U.S. will expect Africa to conform more with Western social norms, allow Western companies access to the African economies, and of course, limit future African involvement with the BRICS nations. This is fundamentally a continuation of the previous relationship the West had with Africa, though perhaps with a nicer tone. On the surface, the BRICS nations appear to be offering a much better deal for the African economies. The infrastructure and nuclear energy deals appear to be game changers without the typical political and social baggage the West pushes. From a business standpoint, it seems BRICS is the winning choice if you are an investor in Africa. But the devil is in the details, and we do not know whether the BRICS nations will maintain a neutral business relationship with Africa indefinitely, or whether they will attempt Western-style political intrigue if BRICS influence becomes more entrenched. Either way, it certainly must be an interesting time to be an African. After centuries of being treated like second-class countries, they now find major powers of the world attempting to win their favor, putting the Africans in a much stronger negotiating position than they enjoyed in the past. I believe this competition for African friendship could lead to better trade deals and more respect for African autonomy. But what do you guys think? Have the trips from the leaders in America and France improved your opinion of Western involvement in Africa? Or should the African nations align more with BRICS? Or do you feel Africa should limit foreign involvement in their economies and develop independently of both the West and BRICS? Let me know in the comments below. I'm very interested in your opinions on this. And as always, if this video provided you with value, give me a like and a follow. That really helps out my channel, and I will see you on the next video.
Alright guys, so when I don't see this guy don't explain everything. We be say American people carry come Africa, or we they say we won't help now, Now those things now be their plan. Mo see waiting the president of Ghana tell him Ghana speaker slams US Vice President Kamala Harris for canvassing gay rights. The matter it don't stick. Ghanaian Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin has slammed the United States Vice President Kamala Harris for advocating LGBT plus practice in Ghana. He noted that her speech regarding the matter was devaluing the people and the country. I said, yes, we agree with that too, because in Africa now we did. In Ghana, Kamala Harris spoke out in support of LGBTQ plus people in Africa, following the introduction of a devastating new law in Uganda that bans queer identities entirely. Uganda, our hearts are with you and we stand strong with you. God go bless the president who signed that law. They said the 49th Vice President of the US made her stance clear on Monday, 27th March, during a press conference. Standing alongside Ghana's President Nana Akufo, Harris said she felt very strongly about supporting the development of the LGBTQ plus right in Africa. He said, then they continue, they do gatalize, they nastalize people. I say, Loriro, go work for Africa. We also say that this is an issue that we consider, and I consider to be a human rights issue, and that will not change, she said. However, the speaker slammed Kamala Harris, describing her comment as undemocratic. According to him, it should not be tolerated. He said, I was so happy when I read that Pope Francis directed that no reverend father should celebrate over gay or lesbian marriage. Yes, Rome has spoken and the matter is ended. So committee members that we refer to the bill, we want the report. Don't be intimidated by any person. I made this statement when I was a member of the European ACP Parliament in Brussels. Now we have two of our members who happen to be leading our committee, Constitutional, Legal, Colloquial Affairs, who are handling the bill, and since we refer to it to them, till date, we haven't had anything. It be like say the people when Ghana enter office, may they go tell them say they no support gay right to say those ones. They don't give them hamburger made in the chop for inside Brussels. He continued, this is a creation and this is spice of life. How come we are using that to divide ourselves? Please let the report flow. We need to legislate. Our friends, yes, pass their law in Uganda. We did not go the way they have gone because our constitution is clear as to the direction we should move, and so we'll be guided by that. Because if we pass any law against the constitution, it's unconstitutional. So we have to do that. So what are you afraid of if you have the whole people behind you? If God is with you, who can be against you? And if God says, please go into the wilderness, multiply and fill the world, that is God giving you the command. So now waiting this man, they blast this woman. Say, Loriro, when God said, go into the world and multiply, say, may man go meet man, may them nyastalize. Say that one, go work for them. So Kamala Harris, it should be a shame that you go born Pekin. I believe say she go get children. Then you want another man, may they nyash another man. So how come they born you? And I want they practice rubbish for this world doing they like this, so go work for you. Carry your gay rights, lesbian, and all the nonsense. Carry and go Western, carry and go China. Go tell them. Now they always come Africa, they look for the berry, but no get convinced. They say, oh, come and do this, come and do no chorandu no gananya kamoto. You hear the smell. I beg you. We'll go another news, go bring on a more update on waiting to happen. If you never subscribe, oh yeah, now here we did now, oh yeah, I know the person voice, una they hear, so una subscribe to this news gospel. So updates go they drop like water. Enugo, Adrima, Kaibian, Emesiano.